Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here. And welcome to my review of Ant-Man and the Wasp. First of all, before I start, for the life of me, I will never understand why they scheduled this film after Avengers Infinity War. It's like eating the most delicious cake, right? And then someone offers you a salad with watercress and tomatoes. It's just underwhelming. And I don't understand why Ant-Man and the Wasp wasn't released first and then Avengers afterwards. Even with the kind of the post-credit scene of what happened, you could have still kept that in. And then that would have made more sense after Infinity War anyway. So I thought that was a wrong mistake by Marvel and Disney and Feige. Ant-Man and the Wasp should have been released before Avengers Infinity War. This film is perfectly fine. It's entertaining, it's fun, and after you finish watching it, you forget all about it. And that's the story of many, many MCU films, I'm afraid. They're not classic. You're not going to watch them again and again and again. There's some fantastic ones that you will, but there's not many of them, unfortunately. This film was sold on the basis that Evangeline Lilly as the Wasp, right, or Hope, if you want to call her that, was this strong female character, and this was a great groundbreaking moment for the MCU and strong female leads. Sorry, I don't agree. Evangelina's Hope in the first Ant-Man was absolutely fantastic, but unfortunately, I didn't feel her in this film as much, and that was disappointing. It wasn't her performance, it was the way she was written. I also will never understand for the life of me this kind of contrived situation and forced, where they were so angry with Scott for going off to Germany to help the Avengers kind of fight each other, basically, in Captain America Civil War. He went to do something to help. It was a very serious situation. If anything, they should be proud of him. Yes, I know they had consequences to that, but still, can you really have the hump with someone because they did something which was more about other people than himself? So that kind of put me off straight away. The best two things about this film are Michael Pena, I'm going to have to read his name, and Michael Douglas as Hank Pym. And Michael Lewis is hilarious, as he was in the first film. And Michael Douglas is brilliant. Now, his chemistry with Evangeline Lilly is brilliant in this film, as it is in the first film. But I will say Michael Douglas and Michael Pena are absolutely the best two things about this film. I also loved Walton, was it Goggins, right? Goggins, as that kind of gangster. He was a lot of fun. What's his name? Sonny Birch or something. Anyway, I can't remember any names. I never do. But yeah, I really liked him. I thought that Michelle Pfeiffer was wasted in this film as the Wasp senior, if you like, as Hank's wife, who was lost in that realm. She was barely in the film, and when she was, her dialogue wasn't very memorable. It wasn't very interesting. I think we should have spent some time with her on her own, in whatever you want to call it, and really got to know her struggle. And so that's disappointing because Michelle Pfeiffer is a phenomenal actress, and she's back in the game, if you like. She hasn't really done much in the past few years, but she's starting to get a few roles again. It was great casting, but to bring in someone like Michelle Pfeiffer and totally waste her is a shame. I've got a lot of respect for her. An excellent Catwoman. She's played many, many roles. She, of course, was in Scarface as well. Totally wasted. Someone else who was also wasted was Hannah John Kamen as the Ghost. I kind of understood her struggle with being the Ghost, but it wasn't fleshed out enough. Her character was just there. And even her relationship with Lawrence Fishburne, who plays Bill Foster, there wasn't chemistry there. The brilliant chemistry you've got with Michael Douglas and Evangeline Lilly is brilliant in both films, but you don't really get that chemistry. Lawrence Fishburne is brilliant, and he's brilliant in Man of Steel and Batman v Superman as Perry White. I really like him, and he's been, Deep Cover, one of his first films years ago, which many of you wouldn't have heard of. Brilliant. The Matrix trilogy, brilliant. But again, another actor totally wasted in this film. This film has very, very low stakes. Paul Rudd as Scott, as Ant-Man. Paul Rudd's a very, very talented guy. And he's another one who's really, really wasted. The only good thing they do with him, like they did in the first film, was his love for his daughter and how important that is. I also love in this film that he really gets on with his wife and her husband, and they're all cuddling him. I love that. Listen, this film is entertaining. No question. The set pieces are great. But there's not really a villain in this film. I know the ghost is meant to be some type of villain, but really, and I mean, Walton Goggins as Sonny, yeah, he's a kind of villain again, but they're not strong villains. They're not strong opponents. And when they announced Ant-Man and the Wasp, I thought this could be a really exciting film. The further adventures of Ant-Man and the Wasp, limitless. But I think the film to me seemed kind of rushed within the screenplay, if you like. Not the quality of the film and what you're seeing, but the actual film seemed really rushed, and it's a shame. I think we could have... It's clear they just wanted to make a light-hearted sequel, and that's fine. But the lack of fleshing out of characters really, really bothered me. And as I say, that's a big shame because you've got a lot of talented people on this casting list, and many of them were wasted. As I say, Michael Douglas wasn't wasted in this film. Michael Pena wasn't wasted. In fact, I wish he was in the film a lot more than he was. And I actually enjoyed the scenes with Michael and Evangeline Lilly. I thought they were great together as well. I'd like to see them together more in the MCU. But yeah. So I think the two Michaels, Michael Douglas and Michael Pena, best thing. I'll say it as many times because I think they're so talented. And I want to see more of Michael in the MCU as well because he really, comedically, he's brilliant. And he's playing a character you really like and he pulls it off so well. And I think they're the strengths of this film, Michael Douglas and Michael Pena. Paul Rudd, it's a shame. Wasted as far as I'm concerned. As I say, really, really talented. I'll give this film a 6.5 out of 10 for pure enjoyment. The action's great. I like how Hope forced towards Ant-Man near the end. And that's good. But I still feel that the whole kind of annoyance over Ant-Man going was, for me, it was needless. And I know they wanted to create something. The problem is the actual story wasn't strong enough and it didn't hold the film together, unfortunately. So definitely the 6 out of 10 I'm giving it is for the comedy, for the entertainment value. But I'm sorry, anyone who thinks this is one of the best MCU superhero films ever, this just isn't a very memorable film.